What's up, EV Clan? Alex Espion here, and welcome back to the next episode of the Pokemon Red Randomizer Nuzlocke. If you missed the last episode, what we did was we beat the 8th gym. We beat Giovanni at the Viridian City Gym, earning ourselves our 8th and final badge. And we made our way to Victory Road. We went down Route 22 or Route 24, whatever route is to the left of Viridian City. And we got all our badges checked. They said we had all of them, because of course we do. And we made it to Victory Road, finally. Killing our encounter at Victory Road because it was a level 22 Dragonite. And I couldn't easily weaken that and did not have a lot of Pokeballs left. So I just said, heck it, and I killed it. And you may be wondering why I'm going back all the way to Viridian City. And why I flew back to Viridian City. And that's because I was looking for potions, but I'm now realizing that there are none here. So ideally, we would want to fly to somewhere else. I spent so much of last episode making my way from getting my badges checked and making my way to Victory Road, only for me to realize after recording that I forgot to go get potions before I left. And I definitely need potions for Victory Road, because if I learned anything from the Ruby Randomizer and my many runs that have failed on Victory Road, and by many I mean probably 2, it's that having more potions is always better than having less potions, and that seems very obvious, and I feel like I could phrase that a better way. But yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is that you want to go into a Victory Road, a Victory Road of any kind, with a lot of potions. You want to have potions ready, because Victory Roads have a lot of high-level encounters, and you are going to need those potions going to need those potions, because not only are the wild encounters high level, but the trainer encounters are even higher, and this place doesn't even have hyper potions. Okay, so I would expect that the department store would have had hyper potions, but apparently in this game it doesn't. I know in other games it does. In Ruby and Sapphire, it does have hyper potions, because I guess Lily Cove City is much farther into the game than Celadon City, so I guess that makes sense. But in this game, department store is located in Celadon City, which is 4th gym. Meanwhile, in Ruby and Sapphire, it's Lily Cove. It's located in Lily Cove, which is in between 6th and 7th gym. That's in between Winona and Tate and Eliza. So that would make sense as to why. Where am I even going? Hold on. Wait, this is not where I want to be. Wait, is this where I want to be? Is this Cinnabar Island? Yeah, this is Cinnabar Island. Okay. Cinnabar Island should have hyper potions available at the mart. Yeah, okay. For a second I was a little lost. For a second I saw the water and I thought I was in Vermilion City somehow. But I did indeed press Cinnabar. Okay, Ultra Balls and Great Balls. Hyper Potions, here we go. For a second I saw Great and I was like, do they not have Hyper Potions here? Do they have Ultra Balls but they don't have Hyper Potions? They have the 3rd level of Pokeball but they don't have the 3rd level of Potions, but they do. That is interesting that they have 3rd and 2nd level of Pokeball, but they only have 3rd level of Hyper Potion. 3rd level of Potion, which would be Hyper Potion. That's kind of weird. They have Great Balls and Ultra Balls, but they don't have Super Potions and Hyper Potions, they just have Hyper Potions. It's a little odd. But anyway, now we are all stocked up on healing items, because if you know me, if you've watched previous episodes, a bunch of them, you know that I never want to have more than 10 potions on hand at once. Obviously, as I said, potions are very important when going into Victory Road, because wild encounters are high level, trainer battles are even higher, and in general, Victory Roads tend to have a lot of trainer battles, and obviously it's a cave, so encounter rates are much higher than just a place with grass, because there's obviously more places where you encounter. On a normal route that's just a grassy route, you get encounters in the grass, and so that's not not as nearly as much encounters as a cave route, because in a cave route you don't just get encounters on a select spot, a piece, a bit of grass or something. It's anywhere on the route you get encounters because the entire floor has encounters on it. You know, like on a route like this, obviously like only in the tall grass am I gonna run into things. In like basic Pokemon routes that are just like grassy, you will only get encounters in the grass. But when you're in like the water or caves, you will get encounters like always, if that's all that the route is. And I feel like caves have higher encounter rates than in the water, and I feel like it's much higher, honestly. I think that honestly, grass, it's even easier to run into Pokemon in grass than it is in water. I think that, like, my ranking, personally, thank goodness I don't have to get all my badges checked again. That's why I was really worried to go, that's why I really didn't want to go back and get potions before going into Victory Road. But, like, I just had to. I've lost multiple runs in the Ruby Randomizer Nuzlocke to just, like, not having enough, running out of potions and getting wiped in Victory Road. And so I can't let that happen again. We've put too many, we're getting too close here. This is looking really good. We haven't lost a Pokemon in a while. I'm not gonna wood because I just said a lot about positive things. And things are looking really good. So I don't want to mess it up by taking too many risks. And I feel like going into Victory Road with only 3 Hyper Potions, which is what I had. Maybe it was 2, because I might have used more than I thought I did in the fight with Blue. I think I had 3 going into Blue, honestly. It might be 2. But yeah, going in with just 2 or 3 Hyper Potions was a tremendous risk, and I just didn't want to take it. So anyway, here we are back in Victory Road. Sorry about the delay, guys, but like I said, I want to make sure I'm prepared. We're doing too good right now for me to throw that away going in unprepared. So I felt it was necessary that we start the episode by just going back and getting potions before we get stuck in here, get lost, and then we can't get out, and we're running out of potions, and start losing Pokemon. Because, like, yes, I do have Pokemon that I could train up if we lose any Pokemon in Victory Road, but obviously I prefer not to, because a lot of these Pokemon have been with me for a while now, and they are all good Pokemon, and, like, all valuable members of the team, and a lot of the backup mons I have in the PC are quite low level. I also don't know, because there are not multiple boxes in this game. The PC doesn't have multiple boxes yet. That's not a thing that's been introduced yet in this game. So, I would have to determine which Pokemon are alive and which are dead. And considering how long ago I started the series, with a lot of them I probably won't know. Because obviously in future gens, people like to make, like, a live box and dead box, but in this you can't because the PC doesn't have multiple boxes. But, anyway, in the previous couple episodes, I've been talking about the Mega Mushroom, and why it is, like, and I've talked about how it's, like, really quite strong. What I did not really address in terms of the Mega Mushroom, I talked about how it was broken, and, while the Superstar and Metal Cap, even though they, like the Mega Mushroom, are invincibility giving power-ups, are not. Like, I talked about how, despite the fact that they are both, that all 3 of those power-ups are invincibility giving, the Mega Mushroom has the important distinction, has the distinction of being overpowered, in my opinion, while, the Superstar and the Metal Cap are balanced. And I also said about how I did not know if Vanish Cap also gave you invincibility, but I was pretty sure it did. Oh my gosh, we just exited. Do we have to, like, turn strength back on now that we left the... Okay, yes we do. That is such a good quality of life improvement. And something I've never really, like, thought about as, like, a thing that I think that it would be... I've never been thankful for it before, but now that I'm in a game where it's not a thing, I'm so thankful for it. That in future games you don't have to go into the Pokemon menu and activate the HM move by yourself. Like, you can literally, in future games, just, like, click on the rock, and then it's like, do you want to use strength? And you can say yes or no. Like, in this, you can't just click on the rock. You can't just interact with the rock, and it'll start pushing it. It's like, you interact with the rock, and it's like, maybe a Pokemon with strength could push this. and that's it. Like, it doesn't ask you, like, hey, you have strength. Would you like to push it? It's just like, maybe a Pokemon with strength could push it. And then, so it doesn't even, like, prompt you to use it. Which obviously saves a lot of time, and also, like, a lot of menuing. It's just good. It's just a nice quality of life thing that I've never really, I never really appreciated, I don't think. And now that I don't have it, now that I'm in a game, before that was introduced, I'm like, thank goodness that's a thing. We are, how many levels above? Hold on. It's the weekend. I don't want to do math. We are a considerable amount of levels above. But this is still a fighting type Pokemon, so I'm a little scared. Luckily, we took it out. Okay. So, basically, I was saying in previous episodes how I was not sure if Vanish Cap gave invincibility like Metal Cap did. Obviously, I know, like, prior to the Mega Mushroom, there were invincibility power-ups in the form of the Superstar and the Metal Cap, but I didn't know if the Vanish Cap was one of those invincibility power-ups, but I was pretty sure it was, because, like, if you can phase through walls, you could probably phase through enemies as well. And, I still don't know. I did not look that up in between episodes. I could have, and I probably should have. That would have been, like, that would have required some planning, though, which I'm not very good at. Not very good at that whole planning ahead thing. So, anyway, there are a number, what I'm trying to say is, like, there are a number of there are a couple of invincibility power-ups. There were invincibility power-ups that existed before the Mega Mushroom, and there may be 2, there may be 3. It may be, Vanish Cap, Metal Cap, and Superstar, or Vanish Cap might not give you invincibility, and I'm just wrong, and so it might just be Metal Cap and Superstar. But regardless of whether it was 2 or 3, there were invincibility-giving power-ups before the Mega Mushroom, but I didn't consider those OP, and I considered the Mega Mushroom OP for a number of reasons that I discussed in the last episode, and a little bit in the episode before that, too. I touched on it. I wonder if you were good enough for me. But I did, obviously, as I said, touch on these things before, so I'm not going to, like, go down that rabbit hole again. Because if you watched the previous 2 episodes, you're probably so sick of me talking about why the Mega Mushroom is broken. And in this episode, I do want to talk about the Mega Mushroom a little bit more, but it's not about why it's broken. It's about something that I actually, like, it's about what caused that entire, like, conversation topic to pop up. I don't know if it's considered a conversation topic if it wasn't used in a conversation, because a conversation implies that there were multiple people involved, and it's not really a conversation if I'm just, like, talking to a microphone. Because you can't really reply. Like, a conversation does require multiple people, and technically, there is multiple people in this exchange. You guys are not able to reply to me? I mean, I guess you could. I guess you could make it a conversation by talking about it in the comments, but I feel like I addressed so much while talking about, the Mega Mushroom and invincibility power-ups that, like, what would you have to add? If you do have something to add, though, please do tell me in the comments. We could make this a conversation. But anyway, what is well-equipped to handle this Arcanine? But not, like, too well-equipped. Like, obviously I could just switch to Andrew, but, like, where's the fun in that? That's boring. Like, I want to save the PP on Surf for when we actually need it. Surf doesn't have, like, a whole lot of PP, and also just, like, going for the super effective move, while it's at half health. It's unnecessary. It's overkill. I don't know if I'm the only person that's like that, but I never want to go for the move that's too overkill. Because then I just feel bad for sending out the previous Pokemon in the first place. Like, if I have a Pokemon out that does some damage to a Pokemon, and then I switch in a Pokemon afterwards that could have just, like, killed it instantly, then it feels bad. Then I feel bad for sending out that first Pokemon in the first place, because I could have just dealt with it with only the Pokemon that I switched out afterwards. Switched out into. So not Andrew, because I don't want to go for the Surf. That's boring, and it makes me feel bad for Carly. So let's go with Gerald. Gerald can deal with this thing. See, those levels are starting to rise. Level 44. It is now only 6 levels above. It is now only 6 levels below us. The trainer's Pokemon. And, I don't know. I think that's. It has been much lower in previous episodes. It is starting to rise. In the previous episode, I did have that interaction with Blue, where his Mewtwo was level 53, and that was worrying enough that I decided to look up the Elite Four levels. I decided to look up the Champions levels. I don't know what level the Elite Four is at, but I know what level the Champion's at, and let's just say I'm freaking terrified, because his Ace is level 65. And, like, to put that into perspective, we are on Victory Road. Once we get out of this cave, it's time for the Pokemon League. And in the Pokemon League, like, we do 4 Elite Four battles, because obviously there's 4 of them. That's why they're called the Elite Four. We do 4 battles with 4 different trainers, and one with each. And then without like a break or without any more time to level or like get out of there and gain some more levels, it's on to the champion. I lost out. So we are at level 50 right now. Champion's at level 65. We have the time that it takes to get. We have the trainers in this place and the Elite Four's worth of XP in order to get to an appropriate level to fight level 65 Pokemon at the end. That is daunting. That is worrying, because that is a lot of levels we need to gain. That is 15 levels on each Pokemon to make sure they are fit for the champion, which is telling me that I might need to grind. I can see you're good. Let me see exactly how good. I welcome it, man. Test me. Show me just how unequipped I am to fight the Pokemon League. I'd rather be in for a rude awakening right now and just like feel that I need to do grinding than go in there and be surprised when I am completely outclassed and then just die. Like, if I am surprised at the Pokemon burp into whatever that was. If I'm surprised in Victory Road by levels, then that's fine, because I can just leave and go grind somewhere. If I am surprised by levels in the Pokemon League, then that's an issue, because I can't just get out of there and grind. Once I go in there, there are 2 options. I either beat it or I die. Which is terrifying. It's like the end in Minecraft. But anyway, what are we gonna do against this Chansey? Chansey's special is really high. Chansey's defense is low. So we need a physical attacker. Oliver is a physical attacker. They already need a king. But yeah. Anyway, I am going to be talking about the Mega Mushroom again in this episode, but I'm not going to be talking about the way it's. I'm not going to be talking about its. I'm not going to be talking about why it's broken, and comparatively to other invincibility-giving power-ups. Instead, what I'm going to be talking about is why its inclusion in New Super Mario Bros. 2 is stupid. Because in New Super Mario Bros. DS, like, don't get me wrong, as I said in previous episodes, this power-up is definitely broken. But it is still an invincibility-giving power-up, with the same sort of rarity as the star. Only in this case, it's not even like, oh, it's only found in levels, and so when you encounter it in a level, it's like super. It's not even like it's only found in levels like a star is, and so when you encounter in levels, it's like a rare find, and so the levels are sort of built around it. But basically, the thing about the Mega Mushroom is that like it's rare to find in levels. It's found in very few levels in the game, but you can just get one from. You are able to just get one from Mega Mushroom houses. So if you get Golden Star tokens, you can spend 5 of those Golden Star tokens per Mega Mushroom house to open up that Mega Mushroom house and just get a free Mega Mushroom. Which, you know, it's a reward for getting Golden Star tokens, because a lot of people obviously will get Golden Star tokens just for the sake of 100%ing the game. But if that isn't like enough for you, if that's not reason enough for you to go find them, like seek them out, then at least that gives you a reason. At least that gives you like a reason in terms of like in a casual playthrough when you're not trying 100%. At least it gives you a reason to get them, because then you can use it to open up just toad houses, regular old toad houses, that give you power-ups, just like the standard ones, or and by standard ones I mean like every other power-up besides Mega Mushroom, or you could use it on a Mega Mushroom house to get a Mega Mushroom. And so, first of all, that's interesting, because if you have well, obviously you can't get a Superstar from a Toad House. You can get that. That can happen in future games, but New Super Mario Bros. DS doesn't have the mechanic yet, where you can just like hold things in the inventory. It's kind of like you just have an item slot. You just have one item slot, and then you can press on the bottom screen to make that item come out, so that you can use it. But I'm kind of scared by this Hypno, not gonna lie. It's a little daunting. I'm worried it's gonna go for a stab psychic and just obliterate Gerald. Andrew. Andrew's full health. Andrew's got pretty good special. But yeah, obviously that mechanic hasn't been introduced yet. Of just like, you have 10 slots. It's probably not 10 slots, but it's like around 10 slots. You just have like 10 slots of space for power-ups, and then you can put one on. You can give yourself one. You can use one before a level. Like, instead, it doesn't have that yet in New Super Mario Bros. DS, but what New Super Mario Bros. DS does have is the ability to use a power-up inside a level by, like, pressing on it on the bottom screen with your stylus. And then, obviously, it gets used, it like, appears in the air, and then it drops down on you, and you get it. And so, in this game, and so what you get when you get into, I had a chance. In Toad Houses, you can get all these power-ups. It just like gives you one of those blocks where it's like it alternates between all the power-ups in the game. Besides, obviously, it doesn't give you a star, because while the normal cycling through, while the normal blocks that like cycle through all the power-ups, when you just like hit when it's showing the power-up you want, and like that specific power-up that it's on comes out. While those normally have a star, it's because those are normally found in levels. And in a level, obviously it's okay to get a star, because then you're just like invincible for that moment after you get the star. But obviously if you got a star in a Toad House, then you're just invincible for a period of time while you're in the Toad House, and that's not really helpful, because obviously there's nothing that can kill you in the Toad House. So then you just be glowing all rainbow, backflipping around in a Toad House. And it's like, well, what does this do? Absolutely nothing. So there's really no point to getting a star in a Toad House for one of those blocks. And I mean, technically, they could have, there would be no point in getting a star from those blocks if they in a Toad House, if they operated the same way in a Toad House as they did in a regular level, where they just immediately dispense the star, and so it automatically like gives you the effect of it. You automatically can like pick it up. But in the Toad Houses, they do give you, they do just give it to you. They like put it in your stylus slot, where you can like press it at any time to activate it. But even then, they still do not give you a star in the Toad Houses. Or maybe they do. Maybe I'm just misremembering. But I feel like I don't recall ever getting a star in one of those Toad Houses. And so yeah, I'm either really bad at timing, or, well, I can't say I'm bad at timing, because if I was bad at timing, I don't even know what that would mean. I'm either because I'm never timing it. Either my timing's really consistent, and I just keep getting everything but a star, or it just doesn't give you a star. I'm gonna go for the latter option. I don't think it gives you a star, which would make sense, because obviously in future games, you like activate the star. You can like store stars in your inventory, in your like power-up inventory, and you can activate things from your power-up inventory like before the level, but you can't activate them while you're in the level. So obviously, like going into the level with invincibility, like activating the star before you go into the level, makes more sense from a mechanic standpoint than and it's just like less. It seems less broken from a mechanic standpoint than being able to just all of a sudden make yourself invincible at any point in the level by like just dropping a star on your head, like dispensing it from your bottom screen. Victory Road is the final test for trainers. And I mean, I guess by dispensing it from the bottom screen, by dispensing a Mega Mushroom from the bottom screen, you are also making yourself invincible. So that it doesn't really make sense by that logic, given that logic, that they would give you a Mega Mushroom in a Toad House. They wouldn't give you a star in a Toad House. But I don't know, I just feel that, I just think that I don't recall a superstar ever being given to me from a Toad House. So I don't think that I just don't think that they can be obtained from Toad Houses. And, like, maybe I'm wrong. I will look this up after I'm finished with this recording session, just to, like, fact check myself, because now I'm interested, now I'm curious, because I tried to come up with a reason, as you just heard. I was like, oh, it wouldn't make sense for them to give you invincibility in the middle of, give you the opportunity to give yourself invincibility, like, at any point in the level. It wouldn't make sense for them to just give you something that you can activate at any point, and then it gives you invincibility. That doesn't make sense from, like, game balancing perspective. But then again, they do that with the oh my... Are you kidding me? The Gerald! Dang it. Just when I was saying I don't want to lose anybody. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to check previous episode. It's one Pokemon down. That's annoying. That one hurts, not gonna lie. What was I talking about before I experienced one of the saddest losses in this entire run? I had him for so long, man. Oh gosh. Nothing to stop your train of thought in its tracks. Like, just losing a Pokemon that you've had since the beginning of the run. Oh my gosh, my brain really isn't braining right now. I just switched from the ground type against the water type. That's not good. I noticed it as it was switching that was a bad idea. I guess I'm switching back to Alice. Let's go to Polly. Everything looks bad. Everything's scary right now because I just lost a Pokemon, so all of a sudden I feel so much less invincible. Everything is now scary. My rose-tinted lens that's like, I could take anything has now disappeared. Now I'm scared. But yeah, I just, like, attempted to justify the lack of a star in my memory with saying that, oh, they wouldn't give you the ability to... They wouldn't give you the ability to, I just attempted to justify the lack of a star being available in my memory by, saying that they wouldn't give you the ability to make yourself invincible at any point in the level for game balancing reasons, but then again, they do that with a Mega Mushroom. So now I'm starting to question myself. Now I'm starting to question because I'm seeing now that my logic is flawed, and I don't really have any good reason why they wouldn't also give you a star. So now I'm starting to question myself. I'm thinking like maybe a star was an option in the Toad Houses, and I just never got it. So we'll look that up after this recording session. After this recording session, I will also probably mourn the loss of my poor Magmar. Gosh darn it. But, anyway, the fact that it's never really integrated into levels, because more often than not, you're getting the Mega Mushroom outside of levels, just in the form of Toad Houses, and so you can sort of use it anywhere, makes it seem more useless in terms of the game. Like, it gets rid of its, like, practical, it gets rid of any sort of practical use it might have, because it being used as a sort of, just the way it's used in New Super Mario Bros. DS, it's used as something you unlock, like, through Golden Star tokens. And it's not like the rotating block where it's just like you get lucky, you get a random power-up. It's like, no, this is, if you want a Mega Mushroom, you go to the Mega Mushroom house. Like, you buy you use one of your Golden Star use your Golden Star tokens to invest in a Mega Mushroom house. Like, if you want a Mega Mushroom, to get a Mega Mushroom from a Toad House, then you will get it from a Toad House as long as you have the money. You know, like, you never... so you wish to challenge the Elite Four? Yes, I do. You never, like, when you unlock a Toad House, it's not like you're ever really looking for one specific power-up like that. that Toad House could give you, like, any power-up besides the Mega Mushroom, you know? Like, if you want, the purpose of a Toad House is not to give you a specific power-up, it's to give you any power. Meanwhile, the purpose of a Mega Mushroom House is to give you a Mega Mushroom. And so in that way, it's like, you get what you paid for. You know, like, if you want a Mega Mushroom, you can always go to a Mega Mushroom House, and you will get one. It's not like, oh, if you want a Fire Flower, you may get one if you go to a Toad House. It's, in the case of the Mega Mushroom House, it's like, nope, this place exists for the entire purpose of giving you a Mega Mushroom. And the fact that there's an entire place that exists solely for the purpose of giving you a Mega Mushroom proves that it doesn't really have a practical use, it's just something that's always good to have. But really, it sort of makes it less interesting, because it's something that you can obviously get anytime. You can just open up a Mega Mushroom House, and you could instantly get it. It's like, there's nothing you have to do. You don't have to, like, time anything. You don't have to, like, it doesn't cycle through a number of power-ups, and you have to, like, pick it out of a specific one. You don't have to time it perfectly to get the one you want. You just, like, open up Mega Mushroom House, and boom, there's your Mega Mushroom. It feels like you didn't really work for it, because you really did not. You just spent some money, and there it is. And so it makes it, like, less interesting. It gets rid of sort of its, like, I don't know, the satisfaction of it, because you can just get one whenever you want. Like, as long as you have Golden Star tokens, you can just buy access to one. You're not working for it, you're not timing it to get one, you're not, like, timing it, you don't have to, like, learn the timing to get this specific power-up. It's like, no, you go into Mega Mushroom House, you get Mega Mushroom. That's it, it's that simple. And so, it feels less satisfying when you get a Mega Mushroom, because you didn't really do anything. Like, and that is even true with, like, its appearances in levels. Like, even in levels, you didn't really do anything. Like, none of the blocks that you, like, press to get Mega Mushrooms were really, like, hard to access at all. They're just kind of there, and you just kind of, like, jump underneath them, and Mega Mushroom pops out. And it's like, that's just sort of there because that's how the level is. It's just, like, built with a Mega Mushroom in mind. But not all levels are built with a Mega Mushroom in mind. Even though you can activate a Mega Mushroom within any level, a lot of levels just don't feel like they expect you to have a Mega Mushroom, despite the fact that, like, the entire point of Mega Mushroom houses is that you get a Mega Mushroom that you can use anytime. You got me. It's like, the fact that you can just get a Mega Mushroom at any point, just by, like, spending Golden Star tokens, means that, like, but you don't have to do that. Means that they can't really build levels around the Mega Mushroom. Because if they do, then they would have to put the Mega Mushroom in it. Because obviously, if you don't have the Mega Mushroom, if you didn't go to one of those houses before that level, then you're kind of screwed. So they can't build a level around the Mega Mushroom. Otherwise, that would mean that you would have to get the Mega Mushroom House. You would have to unlock the Mega Mushroom House. And the whole point of unlocking a Mega Mushroom House is that it's optional. It's like there if you want it. If you want a Mega Mushroom, then you go to the Mega Mushroom House. But it's not a necessary thing. It's not... The whole point of it is that it's optional. It is an optional thing that you can unlock to help you. And so they can't build levels around it because it's optional. But at the same time, since they can't build levels around it, it feels like it has really no practical use because they're not building levels around it. They're not building levels where the Mega Mushroom is kept in mind. Come on, I'll whip you! They're not building their levels with the Mega Mushroom in mind. And they can't build the Mega Mushroom. They can't build levels with the Mega Mushroom in mind because they don't know if you're gonna have one. The whole point of it is that it's optional. So by making it an optional power-up that you can get at any point you want, they are allowing you to, like, storm through only certain levels with it. They are making its use one that is not a practical one. They are making it useful in only certain situations because some levels aren't built for it. Some levels just aren't built for you to be that big, and some levels you just can't activate it because there's a low ceiling or something. And so they can't build levels with the Mega Mushroom in mind. They can't be like, oh, we made the ceiling high, we made this jump high purposefully because in order to make it Mega Mushroom viable, in order to make it, like, so it is in order to make it so using the Mega Mushroom as a viable option here, we made like jumps higher or ceilings higher. They can't just do that, because then if they make a level with the Mega Mushroom in mind that requires the Mega Mushroom to be beaten, then people who didn't choose to just get a Mega Mushroom from the Mega Mushroom house are screwed. So the way that they've set up the Mega Mushroom and the role it plays in New Super Mario Bros. DS makes it so, yes, it's broken, but at the same time it's only broken in certain situations. In some situations it just can't be used because the levels themselves are not made with it in mind, and they can't have made it with them in mind because it's an optional thing. And if you made the levels with the Mega Mushroom in mind, then that would make them less doable for those who did not have the Mega Mushroom. And then it would, in turn, no longer be optional. So the whole point, the whole idea of the Mega Mushroom being optional makes it so levels can't be made around it, and therefore hinders the effectiveness of it having a practical use. It has no practical use because levels can't be built around it, and it cannot be built around it, and levels cannot be built around it because they don't know if you're going to have one, because it is an optional power-up. By making it basically an entirely optional power-up that you don't even need to get at any point in the game, it has gotten rid of any sort of a practical use for it, because they can't make a practical use for it, because if they did make a practical use for it, then it would no longer be optional. By the nature of the power-up being optional, it has no practical use. By the nature of it being entirely optional, not necessary in any level, it has no practical use. The gimmick that they introduced in the game has no practical use in said game. It was simply used in order to advertise, in order to have that cool trailer of Mario stomping through, destroying everything. But it really has no practical use in game because they couldn't give it a practical use because it is entirely what was the word? Because it is entirely optional. And so in the game it was introduced, it is entirely optional and therefore has no practical use. And in New Super Mario Bros. 2, they brought it back purely because New Super Mario Bros. 2 is the sequel to New Super Mario Bros. DS. I got whipped! Not because they were planning to give it a practical use in that game. And in that game, how little Mega Mushrooms you get shows that they still do not have a practical use for it. So much, and like, there is a reason why the Mega Mushroom wasn't in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Obviously, they felt the need to include it in New Super Mario Bros. 2 because New Super Mario Bros. 2 is the sequel to New Super Mario Bros. DS. New Super Mario Bros. Wii, as I've said in previous videos, isn't really a sequel to New Super Mario Bros. DS so much as it is the start of an entirely different New Super Mario Bros. Series. But yeah, there is a reason why the Mega Mushroom isn't in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. It's because it has no practical use. And they still couldn't come up with one when New Super Mario Bros. Wii, when it was time to put it into New Super Mario Bros. Wii. When it came time for them to make a decision whether or not to put it into New Super Mario Bros. Wii. So since they still could not come up with a practical use, by the time New Super Mario Bros. Wii, they were deciding whether to put it in or not, they just decided not to. Because, like, what's the point of putting it in if it has no practical use? And the same thing would apply, theoretically, to New Super Mario Bros. 2. It's like, what's the point of putting it in if there's no practical use for it? But, in the case of New Super Mario Bros. 2, they could find a point. Because the point is, in New Super Mario Bros. 2, that they put it in as a nod to the game which New Super Mario Bros. 2 is a sequel of, New Super Mario Bros. DS. And in this game, it still serves no purpose, just as it did in the original game, but it sort of has to be there because because the Mega Mushroom was such a big symbol of New Super Mario Bros. DS. Since it is sort of emblematic of that game, since it is such a huge part of that game, since it is the game's main gimmick, the big and small thing, they have to put the Mini Mushroom in New Super Mario Bros. 2, as well as the Mega Mushroom. Is Victory Road too tough? It's a little hard, not gonna lie. Like, in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, they did not feel the need to bring back the Mega Mushroom, because, like I said, no purpose, completely optional, no practical use. But, and so they just used the Mini Mushroom. They just brought the Mini Mushroom back in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. But in New Super Mario Bros. 2, they just had to bring both back because it is a sequel to New Super Mario Bros. DS. It would feel like an incomplete sequel if it did not have both the Mini Mushroom and the Mega Mushroom. The two power-ups, the two, like, conflicting power-ups, one that makes you smaller and one that makes you big, that were the main gimmick of that game. But they brought it back purely in order to pay homage to that gimmick, in order to make it feel more like a sequel to New Super Mario Bros. DS by reusing that same sort of gimmick. Well done! But they didn't really have any new ideas for how to make the Mega Mushroom work in New Super Mario Bros. 2. They really did not make any more of it really did not have any more of a practical use in New Super Mario Bros. 2 than it did in its first game, where it had no practical use in the first place. So, in New Super Mario Bros. 2, it becomes even more obscure a power-up to run into than it was in New Super Mario Bros. DS. It becomes even more pointless and even harder to get your hands on, because they just put it in for the sake of referencing New Super Mario Bros. DS and didn't really know what to do with it. It's just there for the sake of, this is a sequel to New Super Mario Bros. DS, not there because it actually adds anything substantial to the game and the way it's played. Anyway, so, rant over. Thank you all so much for watching, EV Clan. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and this is Alex Espion, signing off. I miss my Magmar already.